Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. So let's start this morning's press conference. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. First of all, I would like to thank you all for coming here today to attend the Ccosf Semi-Annual Review 2009 press conference. First of all, please allow me to thank all the media reporters and media friends come here to support us. And let me introduce the guests here today. Mr. Frankie White, President of Ccosf. Mr. Roy Rongfeng Huang, Chairman of Ccosf. Mr. Jean Karagianis, MP, Agincourt. Ms. Sarah Koudalekos, Executive Director, CCDC. Mr. Nelson Chen, President, TCCSA. Mr. Zhang from the Consulate General of China, PRC. Ms. Gina Lee from Scotia Bank. And Ms. Dr. Sila Ross from University of Algoma. Welcome. So by beginning today's press conference, I would like first to invite Mr. Frankie White to give us a speech.
Honorable Jim Karagianis, Dr. Zhang.
The microphone here.
It's on? No.
Okay.
Sarah, Nelson, Tina, and Dr. Ross, media friends. Well, we are here today to make a report on what we have been doing for the last few months. It's been hard for us. Ccosf is a new organization. We organize this organization in the view that seeing other countries are having big projects in China in recruiting students from China to their country, like England and Australia. And we see that our country, Canada, is really behind on that. And we try to do something on it, not just for our own sake, for our Canada's view to the other part of the world. In January, we formed this organization, Ccosf, and then we try to persuade New Oriental in Beijing, try to help us out to promote Canadian universities, because they are one of the biggest education organizations in China. And last year they have 1.28 million students in China. So through Mr. Huang, he's the CEO from New Oriental in Toronto. And through his connection that we talked to Beijing New Oriental and have this organized and pushed forward with. And then we have the honor of having Mr. Jim Karagianis coming along with us. That give us a great help in trying to get university to recognize us, to go over there to China to this event. Now, we are trying to help the universities, but the first thing that the university are saying that, well, you guys, what are you doing? Why are you doing this event, and what's going on? But we have Mr. Jim Karagianis in there, and then we can talk to them saying that, well, we are trying to promote Canadian university in China. We are trying to help. We are trying to organize a bigger event than what you have been doing. Like every university is doing event for themselves, or they go over to China to recruit all by themselves, though, which is very hard for them. So we try to do something like that, and we successfully have worked on that. During March and April, we bring university to China, and in Beijing, Xi'an, and Chengdu, we hold events for them, and then there are over 1,000, more than 1,000 students and parents coming over to the events, and you can see it from the pictures that we have in the program. And right after right after the event in Beijing, then we asked for response from universities, and that's what we got from University of Alberta, saying that I honestly think that you guys did a good job in putting up this fair, considering this is the first time that you are doing this. And I'm impressed by the way everything was put up and the number of audience show up. And from University of Windsor, saying that overall it's an interesting experience. I really enjoyed Jim's speech. Jim, I'm looking forward to the upcoming fair in Xi'an and Chengdu. And from University of Algoma, we are impressed with the quality, organization and scale of this event, especially this is the first time. And from York University, saying that I think it's a very successful forum and education exhibition. You guys have done a good job. Well, we are hoping to carry on with this event year after year, hoping that we can promote our higher education in China. Actually, Canadian universities are good universities, and they deliver good education to our students. And if we can work something on that, and recruit more students from China, that will not just help university, but with the students in Canada, that will help our economy too, right? I'm sorry that we don't have a Chinese media that along with the kids, so I have to talk about the whole thing that in Cantonese, and bear with me for a few minutes. 今年年初嗰陣時，我哋就組織咗一個非營利機構，就係呢個就係中加留學論壇。點解我哋要組織呢個機構咧？就其實我哋過往幾年我哋都見到咧，就係英國啊、澳洲啊、澳大利亞嗰邊咧，佢哋直情成個國家佢個大學咧就組織埋一齊，就去中國嗰邊咧就去收生嘅。咁我就覺得其實加拿大啲大學都唔差㗎，我哋嗰個教育係水準係好高嘅。咁點解我哋國家冇搞呢啲咁嘅活動咧？咁所以我哋就希望組織呢個非營利機構嚟到去辦呢啲活動。咁兩個原因嘅，第一個就係我哋可以去到嗰邊就介紹我哋加拿大嘅教育。第二咧就係我哋可以令到政府可以睇下，喂有咩辦法可以幫啲大學，亦都可以幫我哋啲經濟。咁其實學生唔會話唔考慮加拿大大學嘅，只不過咧佢有一個好大嘅問題就係佢個簽證嘅問題。咁呢個簽證問題咧，我哋亦都同國會議員嗰邊咧亦都溝通過。咁喺省級嗰邊亦都溝通過，但係呢啲需要時間去處理啦。咁但係今次我哋其實遇到好多困難嘅。我哋做嗰陣時咧，所有大學都問：喂，你哋係邊個嚟㗎？我唔識你喎，你搞呢個係咩事啊？咩原因啊？咁樣。咁我哋又得到詹嘉里過嚟幫我哋手，同埋我哋一齊去嘅時間咧，我哋覺得已經爭好遠啦。我哋可以話俾你聽，我哋有詹嘉里同埋一齊去，我哋唔係求其搞少嘢，我哋希望即係搞一啲對加拿大呢個高等教育作一啲貢獻嘅事嘅咁樣。咁就係因為咁樣，我哋去到嗰邊搞呢個 event 嘅時間咧，亦都有好多學生嚟到參與，喺每個城市都超過300人喺度。咁我哋今日第一次搞啫喎，咁樣如果我哋繼續去嘅話，我相信參與嘅學生、參與嘅家長可能比今次更加多。咁我哋都希望更加多大學嚟到參與呢個活動。咁我哋去到嗰邊嘅時間，亦都會有好大嘅幫助。咁以下落嚟，或者我哋請阿黃生又講講我哋今次去完翻嚟有啲咩總結。
Thank you, Frankie. Now, please welcome Mr. Robert Hong to say a few words about CCOSF in China.
Thank you, Honorable Jim Karajanis, and thank you, Charlotte, and thank you, Nelson, and Frankie, and General Gina, and Dr. Celia Rose. Thank you. And distinguished guests and media friends, thank you for coming. And I'd like to announce our plan and the events we are coming, the second part of this year, and also our plan for 2010. And firstly, I'd like to announce in 2010 March, we are going to do the foreign Canadian education exhibition in 7 cities in China. It's Beijing, Shanghai, Qingdao, Nanjing, Guangzhou, Shenzhen, and Chengdu. And secondly, I'd like to introduce our second plan is we are going to launch an assessment system, especially to help the Canadian University to admit Chinese students to provide with the convenience and efficiency, especially to assess their presentation and of course it's an English presentation skill, not Chinese, okay, and plus the language skill. And finally, I'd like to introduce our third plan. It's the critical one. We are going to launch our Ccosf scholarship plan for Chinese students that are learning in Canada. And this is our original plan, just for the Chinese student in Canada. But during our trip to Chengdu, Honorable Jun Karagiannis insists he had to go to the earthquake area to take a look at the students, to visit the schools. And we are shocked. Actually, the students, they still need help. The schools, they still need help. So I think Jim will tell you his true story and experience later on. So I'd like to announce, and we modify our original plan. We will also provide a scholarship for the Sichuan students in the earthquake area. So, thank you guys. So, next one I think will be Jim.
So since we mentioned about Sichuan earthquake area, so if Jim, you don't mind, I'm gonna play a little clip that we made for that area that our visit in Sichuan.
Back all these times and the dreams we left behind, I'll be glad 'cause I was blessed to have you in my life. When I look back on these days, I look and see your face. You were right there for me. Yeah, my dreams I always see you
It's been about a year and a few weeks that we were all working together in order to make sure that we raise money for the earthquake in China. It's been a year that the Chinese people have gone through devastation to resiliency to rebuilding. I've been into many earthquake, man-made, natural disaster zones, more than my fair share than any other politician. But nowhere in the world have I seen a government that was so determined to rebuild so fast. Not only by words, but by actions, as in China. In 2005, October, I went to Banda Aceh, Indonesia, which was the epicenter of the tsunami area. And they were still, 10 months out, still thinking about where we're going to build and how we're going to build and what structures we're going to use and how we're going to do it. I understand that in Muzaffarabad in Pakistan, they're starting to rebuild after the 2005 earthquake. Chinese are not thinking. They're not contemplating what buildings they're going to be putting up. They are putting buildings. It moved from temporary shelters to kids coming out of them a year later to going back to permanent structures. So the speed which the Chinese government and the resiliency of the Chinese people to rebuild after the earthquake is to be commended. I was a little emotional in watching the slide this morning, and a little emotional while I was there. The young lady that you've seen, she was trapped underneath the rubble for close to 100 hours. And to see the survivor, and to see the people, the young ones, are missing limbs and legs, arms, just their want for life and thirst for life is what made me realize that what education is all about. Sometimes we take being parents for granted, and we take organizations such as Ccosf and TCSA or what they do for granted. But I have to tell you, in working with them closely for close to 12 days and being with them and seeing their care on the ground and what they were able to deliver, I was astounded, amazed, and a great supporter, and if you want to call it a cheerleader of the work that they're doing. I'm going to break my, I don't want to dwell too long because I think there's other people that want to speak, but I want to sort of cut it into two schemes. I want to talk about TCCSA, Nelson and Elliot. Elliot, where are you? He's in the back? Yeah. There you go. Take a big wave. Now, they are an organization which is in my writing, and they are supporting new immigrants. They are there to support settlement of new immigrants. And for them to reach out and say to the people before they come to Canada, this is what you're going to be experiencing, this is what you're going to be seeing, these are the things that you must do, is to be congratulated. Never before had an organization, to my knowledge, not only in China but around the world, done this. Next year they will be having the support and the working relationship with the Canadian Consul General as well as the Canadian Embassy. And that is to be congratulated. It's a great achievement. And special thank you goes to Gina and the folks at Scotiabank for partnering up with them. I am very bullish about the fact of what they're doing and what the future holds out for them. Because not only did they talk about Toronto, they talked about Vancouver, they talked about Montreal, and they talked about all the centers that the Chinese folks immigrate to as the first stop. So learning about Canada before you even go to Canada or come to Canada about what you do and what you not do, and having a comprehensive booklet on that is to be congratulated. Second, Ccosf. Never before have we had 10 universities. Close at one point I think we had 10. But we had, was Algoma part of the original? Okay, 8. I remember sometimes maybe I counted a little too much on my fingers, but we had 8 universities with us that followed us from city to city to city. And, you go to the first city and after they say, well, okay, maybe we won't go. But there were dedicated universities that came along to all the 5 cities. Never before had students been given the opportunity to reach out and talk to representatives of universities one-on-one. Usually they get to meet somebody which is like a consultant or a lawyer, and they will learn from them how to go, or they will go on the internet to find out information as to what's available in Canada. But for the first time, not for something that was sponsored by the Chinese government, the first time this is something that was sponsored by a non-profit organization from Canada reaching out to students in China. They were able to find out directly from Canadian universities, from representatives, from people. The representative of Ontario is with us. People that have immigrated to Canada. I know Gina spoke about her experience when we were over there. And to hear, for students to hear this is something which is astounding. I remember coming to Canada when I was a child, and there was a film that we were shown in grade 6, and I said, wow, that's Canada, it's all about. So it's the first-hand experience of people that have come to Canada, of people that wanted to sell you their university, or to promote their university, or to get you, to encourage you to come to your university. And they're not people that will say to you, you know, it's going to cost you $10,000, I need another $4,000 in order for me to get you there. But these are people that were there representing their university. So that was to be congratulated, and I'm looking forward to joining them next year if they'll have me. But I have to tell you, 10 cities, with all the stuff that we did, we even had a chance to do a little bit of sightseeing and a little bit of side tours. My wife and I are very thankful to them for getting us along, and I know we certainly enjoyed it, and we had fun, and they're to be congratulated, and I even got a mean-looking picture. Thank you.
Thank you, Gene. Now please welcome Mr. Baojun Zhang, Council of Education from Council General PRC, to say a few words.
Good morning, everyone. I just want to say a few words on behalf of the Chinese Council of General in Toronto. I'm working in the education section, and so I'm very grateful for the organizers of this forum, because they are just doing part of my job, sharing my responsibilities. So they will definitely get my full support with the future initiatives. I think I'm quite safe to say that all the Canadian universities, publicly funded universities, are high standard, high quality universities. Quite a number of them are just world-class universities. But we also know that they are very much less known than their counterparts in Australia, in New Zealand. So promoting these high-quality universities in China lets more Chinese students, Chinese parents have a good understanding of the quality of the Canadian universities. It's a very huge work. So I think the challenge is big, but with their devotion, with their vision, I think they will achieve success. There's no problem with that. And the other issue is, so far, because I'm just responsible for the work of Ontario province and also the province of Manitoba, so to my knowledge, we have so far now 25,000 Chinese students learning in a language school or in universities pursuing a degree. So they have lots of issues that happen to them, like the legal issues, how to settle down smoothly here, how to communicate with the communities, have good interactions with communities, how to get along with their classmates or with their friends, whatever. So lots of things that they need help. So I think the forum is doing one thing, promoting Canadian universities in China. The other thing is helping the Chinese students here to integrate them quickly into the Canadian community. I think this is very meaningful work. And so I can promise that I will give them the full support, and with especially the New Oriental Schools network in China, that's a very strong support for their future success. I think they will achieve quite a lot. So thank you very much.
Thank you. So now please welcome Ms. Sarah from CCBC to give us a speech.
Thank you, and I'm very happy to be here today. I'm from the Canada-China Business Council, and CCBC has been very pleased to support Ccosf in their first venture this year. It really, what Ccosf has done gets to the heart of what Canada needs in many of its sectors, which is working together. The Canadian mentality in business and education often tends to be that an organization, a company, a school works for itself. And as Canadians, a lot we can do in China, but we really often, in many sectors, need to band together to go from being small in comparison to many of the other countries in the world to being mighty. And we have long thought at CCBC that in the education sector, it could benefit from having a coordinated effort like this. So I congratulate Frankie and Roy on this. We were also very pleased to play part because a number of our members are involved in this, and CCBC as a membership organization exists to support them. So from New Oriental to a number of the universities on this list, this gets to the heart of what we try to do, which is to help our members to facilitate their activities with China, whether they be educational institutions or companies or even government agencies. And so one of the things that has really struck me over the years as I've gone to China many times is that the Chinese always say, Canada, we'd love to send our kids there. And then when it becomes time for their kids to apply and get their visas and put the whole process together, it's not always as easy for Canada as it is for countries like Australia. So we're very motivated to see what we can do to make Canada be an easy way, an easy location to study, because there is such a strong place in people's hearts in China for Canada. And we at CCBC will look to continue supporting this event and look forward to so many more cities next year. And we wish CCOSF the best of luck. Thank you.
Thank you, Sarah. So now please welcome Ms. Gina Lee, Director from Scotiabank, to say a few words.
Honorable Jim Garigianis, honorable rest of the guests, media friends, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. It is a pleasure for Scotiabank to be one of the major sponsors for the Ccosf in China. I think there are two significant meanings for us to participate. First is that, as we know, each year, in the past couple of years, approximately 150,000 students leave China to study overseas. How many of them are coming to Canada? Between 10,000 and 13,000, I believe, last year. So which only represent a very small percentage of the students coming overseas, and the rest of them, majority of them go to US, Canada, Australia, New Zealand. So I think together with the nonprofit organizations like CCOSF, with the government, and with other organizations like CCBC, Scotiabank is willing to work with everybody to promote, to lobby higher education in Canada, because that represents significant opportunities for the country, for the government, from all aspects. Secondly, by the way, I want to mention something. Not long ago, we participated in a presentation done by our Minister of Immigration and Citizenship, Jason Kenney. And while we were in China, there are so many student parents coming to us asking questions like, how can Canada make it easier for us to get a visa application process, right? How can the process be easier for us to send the kids to Canada? So with all the feedback, I actually cascaded feedback to the minister, and apparently the government is aware of that, and they're working on it as we speak. So I think that's one of the, at least one of the things that we can do, right? Secondly, the second meaning I would say is that as Council Zhang mentioned, the students come to Canada, they face all kinds of challenges, just like new immigrants, right? They need the communication, they need to settle down, they need to understand how the banking system works, how to get a credit card, how to buy a car, so on and so forth. So Scotiabank is there. We are the most international bank. We are in 50 countries. So we are there, want to help them. So more than 1 year ago, we established a department called the Multicultural Banking Department, and we're the only bank so far that has centralized department dedicated to serve the multicultural communities, i.e., establish new immigrants. So last year we launched the Start Right program for new immigrants, and this year we're launching a special program for students, foreign students, to help them build credit history, to help them settle faster in Canada. So we will continue to support CCOSF in the future endeavors, and it's a pleasure for us to be part of it, and we look forward to seeing more students coming to Canada. And we together as a team, we do a better job helping them. 尊敬的各位来宾大家好。那么我们这次枫叶银行呢，很高兴能有这个机会赞助我们这个家中论坛活动。那么我主要的有2点意义呢。第一点呢，就是说每年虽然有15万的学生出国留学，但是只有1万多的学生来到加拿大。那么枫叶银行呢，愿意跟政府、跟这个我们的家中论坛，还有像这个家中理事会。这样的机构，我们一起合作，我们愿意到中国去，然后帮助来这个宣传到加拿大的这个参加高等教育，到留学生到加拿大来这个留学。那么我们觉得这个市场呢是很大的，另外对家国的经济呢也是有着非常重要的影响的。那么前不久呢，我有一个机会呢，跟这个我们的移民厅的厅长 Jason Canny 有一对一的这个对话。然后呢，我把这个在中国我们的学生和家长提供的这些问题呀，还有这些一些信息呀，带给他，就是说希望政府能够放松放宽对这个 visa application 的这个控制。那么第2点意义呢，就是说，像张领事刚才提到了，很多留学生到加拿大以后会面临各种各样的问题，比如说他们对新的环境不熟悉年纪又轻，然后需要这个找地方居住，然后要了解这边的银行系统，要买房，要买车呀，比如说要拿信用卡等等等等这些。那么枫叶银行呢，就是这点是我们能够做到的，我们愿意就是说除了给他们提供这个理财方面的这个帮助以外呢，我们还提供了很多其他的信息，比如说我们有这个中文网站，上面呢除了理财方面信息以外呢，还有很多其他的，比如找学校，比如说怎么 settle down 找到哪些地方去学英文等等这些信息。所以呢，我们会在未来的日子里呢，继续的支持我们家中论坛还有其他的像这个多华会的中国安居讲座这样的活动帮助移民，帮助这个留学生尽早的适应加拿大的这个新的生活。感谢大家，感谢各位媒体朋友，谢谢。
Thank you, Gina. So now let's welcome Mr. Nelson Chung from TCCSA to give us a speech.
Good morning, everybody. TCCSA is proud to participate in the CCOSF forum this year. We see the need from China, right, for the education. As Councillor Jan said, Canada have the high qualities of university in the world, and how to carefully to use the resources. We thank you, Frankie and Roy, to run this forum, and I hope they will run every year, and TCCSA and CCOSF will work together to serve this newcomer. No matter they have the immigrant visa or the student visa, we happy to serve them. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chung. Now let's welcome Ms. Ross from Algoma University to speak.
Thank you very much, Honorable Jim Marianis and Council Valjean and Mr. Y and Mr. Hung. It's really exciting to be here. I'm from Northern Ontario and I don't get down south quite as much as I might like. So it was really nice that I was here in Toronto to be part of this. We were very excited at Algoma University to be part of this forum in China. For us, it was a real opportunity to reach out in a very quality way to Chinese students. And that's so important. It's important for us to be able to talk to students who would like to come to Canada, to be able to share what we know about Canada, obviously to share news about our own university. My university is Algoma University in Sault Ste. Marie, but also just generally to share what we know about quality education in Canada and all the various things that you can study in Canada and the various opportunities for students. We look forward to welcoming at Algoma and Sault Ste. Marie more Chinese students in the years to come. We are a small university in a small community, quite isolated, so it's really important for us to bring people from around the world to join our community and to enrich our community. And I can assure you that the Chinese students that we do have really make a contribution. They make a contribution, first of all, in the classroom, because they bring perspective that's quite different to our classes, and that's what university is about. It's about sharing knowledge from the universe, from throughout the planet. It's not about isolating ourselves, it's about joining with other people. So that's the first contribution they make. But they also make a big contribution to the community. Maybe that's not too obvious in Toronto, which is a multicultural community, but it's very obvious in other parts of Canada that aren't so multicultural. And when the students come, they meet people from Sault Ste. Marie, they meet businesses, they give new perspectives, and as a consequence, Sault Ste. Marie, Northern Ontario, and other more geographically isolated areas of Canada are opening up to the world, and that's tremendous. So a big thank you from us to those students for bringing those contributions. Plus, of course, we have an absolutely splendid Chinese New Year celebration every year now, and other such events that enrich us all culturally. My hope in the future is that we will continue participating in your forums. Look forward to 10 cities next year. That will be really something. And of course, I look forward to enlarging the collaboration. Universities, yes, we're about students coming here from China, but we're also about sending Canadians out into the world. And I look forward to growing that aspect and sending Canadian students to China. And I look forward to all the other opportunities, such as visiting professors from China who can come and work with our professors and grow knowledge in that way. And research partnerships. Research is increasingly international. And I look forward very much to our scientists working with Chinese scientists, for instance. And of course, with the wonderful communications that we have now, distance is really disappearing. And we can establish really fruitful partnerships that will benefit research and development and innovation and commercialization in Canada and in China. So thank you very much for all you're doing to make this easier for universities. You're really enriching us, and you're giving great opportunities to students. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Ross. So now if media have any question and that you can ask now. 如果我们媒体有
Do you have a questions because sounds like so far we are bringing numbers of Canadian universities to China. Is there any plan you also will including those institutions or colleges to join this team as well?
Yeah, for you.
Yeah, because we are newborn, right? A brand new organization. And in Chinese marketing way and people, the beginning, because in Chinese traditional people, first choice is the university. So I think in the first year, or maybe still in the second year, we just include the university. But later on, in the future, when Ccosf have gained more reputation, and we will start to include college. It's some kind of the marketing solution actually.
So any other questions?
Yes, I do. You talk about, say, the visa applications takes a long time for the Chinese student go to Canada. What kind of a barrier? Is the government policy, quota system, any way to solve this problem?
Maybe Jim is a
I had made a promise to be non-political this morning. You know which side of the house I sit on. I'm in opposition. And you are very well aware of my comments in the past about the current government, so I'm not going to dwell on that, because I think I will be doing a disservice to people that have brought me here. A visitor visa, as well as a student visa, in Beijing and Shanghai takes a little longer than they should. We've engaged, and this is not from the political aspect, but we engaged directly, one-on-one, the minister council or the manager of the folks on Beijing. We also engaged them in Shanghai, and they explained to us some of the difficulties that they have, and there's going to be a willingness and a partnership to work in order to expedite this. I know that there's willingness and a partnership to work with TCCSA, They will advertise the event for TCCSA next year, and it will let prospective immigrants to Canada know that this is happening. The difficulties that we face as far as visas is concerned, it's another forum. I'm also a member of the Standing Committee of Citizenship and Immigration, and we've got some facts and figures, and it can, and it must be smoother. Unfortunately, there's some roadblocks that we need to smoothen out, and that is as much as apolitical as I can get.
What's the normal lead time, and you say the delay?
You know, I've seen, throughout the world, I've seen visas been issued on the same day. In other parts of the world, it takes a little bit longer to process applications, be it immigrant application, visitor visas, or whatever else. In China, unfortunately, it takes a little bit longer than normal for immigrant applications, skilled workers, and family class to do join. And all of you got those figures because they're readily available on my website. It can take anywhere between 2 to 3 weeks, and I've seen cases taking up to 4 or 5 months for a student application to be processed. The most important thing, however, and I will say this wholeheartedly, and through the media, for you to please make sure that you do get it out, is that a lot of people, when they apply, they don't have all their paperwork. If you go to the website of the Canadian Consul General, the Canadian Embassy in China, it's in English, in French, and in Chinese. If you go to the website, make sure you got all your paperwork. All your paperwork. Make sure that all the I's are dotted and the T's are crossed. It should go smoothly.
Can I add one point? In addition to what Jim mentioned, another part of the requirement for a student visa application is for students to deposit a certain amount of money in a Chinese bank for a certain amount of time. For example, that requirement for Canada had been 18 months. So they have to put the money in the bank for 18 months to prove that money is from a non-borrowing source. And that requirement for England had been 12 months and reduced to 6 months, and I believe it's 3 months now. For Australia, it's been reduced all the way to 28 days. But for Canada, it's still 12 months. So when I talked to Jason Kenney last time, this is one of the points that I mentioned. Look, we gotta make ourselves competitive, right? So that's one of the hurdles. Thanks.
您的问题是什么呢？主要是学生遇到的问题。
大概比如说，中国留学生来加拿大，大概多少人数？主要在哪几个城市？应该刚才你提到非常重要的，他们来了之后，新地方到底面对什么样的困难？在解决方法怎么样？希望有什么解决方法？
我们领馆呢，就是领馆，我在领馆教育组工作嘛。我们教育组呢，主要负责安大略省和曼尼托巴省这2个省的教育交流工作。那么其中一项很主要的任务就是照顾这儿的中国留学生。那么这些中国留学生里边呢，有国家公派的留学生，就是国家提供生活费的、国家给予资助的留学生，就是我们叫的公派留学生。那么还有一些就是自费的留学生。从我们目前了解到的情况来看呢，在大学读书的学生遇到的问题相对要少一些。那么特别小留学生问题比较多。那么这些问题我们归纳一下，大概有这么几方面。第一个就是说，学生来了以后对这儿的这个教育的制度不是特别了解。那么加拿大的这个教学制度，包括在学院也好，在大学也好，这个跟中国的有些不同。从我自己了解来看，比方说这个老师的考勤记录啊，这个每一次的 paper 的得分呢，都非常的重视。那么很多学生呢，我们在国内的大学期中考试、期末考试，那么很多学生到期末的时候会发现自己成绩很不好，所以说这是一个问题。第二个问题呢，就是我们的学生在自我调节上还有一些问题。在国内呢有父母照看，那么学校的老师呢也都是从早到晚看着，可是一到了加拿大完全是一个独立的环境，那么所有的生活上所有的事情，学习上所有的事情 都要靠自己。虽然学校也提供一些咨询，但是要靠自己去主动寻找帮助。所以我们的学生呢，在这方面有些欠缺。已经发生过几例学生因为极度的不适应这儿的生活，包括精神上的有很大的压力，甚至出现一些问题。所以这个呢，我们也不断的告诫这个留学生要调整好自己的心态，而且呢，要充分利用加拿大各界给提供的这种资源，来调整好自己的身心健康，调整好自己的生活。那么另外一方面呢，就是这个职业发展。那很多学生呢，在加拿大学习以后，有一些同学的想法不是太切合实际，对自己的这个看法呢过高，对自己的这个前途呢看得也太高，所以我觉得我们留学生到加拿大来学习，也跟国内的大学生是一样的，我们都要脚踏实地的，从一个比较实际的标准起点出发，这样才能对我们未来的发展呢有好处。这就是我们教育组做的工作呢，就是说一方面给大家提供一些咨询，第二个方面呢，就是说能在生活上、学习上各个方面吧，尽量的帮助他们。所以今天我参加这个论坛呢，我也很高兴。这个 Ccosf 呢，他们其中一个主要的工作就是成立一个平台，让大家在这儿交流，那么把生活中的问题都反映出来。这样的话，群策群力，集中大家的意见，我觉得会对留学生非常有益处，在这儿能帮助他们更快地适应这儿的生活。我觉得这是一个非常好的出发点。正像我刚才讲的，这也是我们工作的一个范围。所以呢，他们在做我们做的工作，所以我也特别对他们表示感谢。